لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد. Tonight بإذن الله تعالى يوم السبت Saturday 1424, the 1424th year after the migration of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Mecca, Medina, the 10th of Safar, which is in agreement with 2003, April the 12th. We study an issue, inshallah ta'ala, which is not our normal matters, because those we do on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But since some brothers requested that there be a class so that they can benefit, matter of fact, many of those who asked don't seem to be here. But that's how it is, I guess. Ala kulli halin, as they say, once the smoke clears, you'll see if it's a donkey you're riding or a horse. And so things will always be clarified. Now we know how serious they are. Ala kulli halin, we deal with the issue of jihad briefly. It's an extensive issue, a detailed issue. But we deal with it from the standpoint that you hear people run their mouth all the time. Individuals who basically shouldn't be running their mouths. You find them living in a kafir country under a ruler that they don't have to declare kafir. He's already a kafir. Talking about, we want to do this in Iraq and we want to do this in Afghanistan and we should do this and where are the ulama and all this type of madness. As if this fool did not find anyone to blame on the face of the earth except the scholars. This is the only one that he found to talk about. Meanwhile, you find that they don't know the issues. In the case particularly in Afghanistan, they don't know what is Afghanistan, who was ruling Afghanistan. They don't know the Taliban, they don't know the Aqidah of the Taliban, they don't know if it's permissible to fight with the Taliban. Beside the Taliban, against whoever. They don't know any of this. Situation comes up in Iraq. They don't know the Ba'ath Party. They don't know Saddam Hussein. They don't know the rulings regarding Saddam Hussein. And the people that they want to run over there and defend are the same people that over here they don't even consider their brothers, really. They go inside their stores and they see them selling swine and alcohol and tobacco and pornography and lottery tickets, and they say nothing to them. Yet when a war comes up, they want to run over there, and supposedly we're supposed to believe they want to die beside them now. Don't even offer them nasiha in this country, advice. Say, brother, taqillah, akhi, you should be selling this. Akhi, you know anything about tawheed? Akhi, you know anything about sunnah? Akhi. Nothing of that. But then the emotionalism starts to talk when something goes down, and it's like, what do you think the vast majority of people in Iraq are like? That guy in that corner store, that's what they're like. You think they're up on sunnah? You think that their throws are above their ankles and their beards are to their chest, and they're praying according to sunnah, and they're fasting according to sunnah, and there's no interest in their life as far as riba and usury and these things, and there's nothing haram? You think they're listening to Iza'at al-Quran al-Kareem, and he broadcasts the Quran on the radio? You think they listen to music? So this is how far we are with emotionalism. That you have individuals who talk when they should shut up, who talk and speak when they should listen. And the issue is such that they will talk about the scholars as if the scholars are the ones wrong, as if it never reached their ears that the Prophet ﷺ said, that Allah Ta'ala said in Hadith Qudsi, Man adha li waliyan, he who harms a close servant of mine, adhantuhu bil harb, I have declared war upon him. There's no doubt that the scholars are the closest to Allah Ta'ala. Al-ulama al-amilin, the scholars who act upon the deen, are the closest to Allah Ta'ala. So they have, first and foremost, those who are being talked about in this great hadith, the hadith of the wali. And you want to mess with, be at war with Allah, to be at war with you? Adha waliyan. Harm a close servant of Allah. That's all you got to do. Talk about the scholars. Where are the ulama? What did the ulama say? ya jahil, ya miskin. The ulama said a lot, but you don't read what they say. The ulama wrote a lot, but you don't read what they write. The ulama stated a lot, but you're not listening. You don't even know where to go. You don't even know who the ulama are. They're speaking constantly, but you don't hear them because to you they're non-existent. To you, they're non-existent. So this issue, sparks and places a bad taste in your mouth because it's getting ridiculous. 12 years ago we heard it. Gulf War. Where's the ulama? We got to do something. Afghanistan we heard it. Where's the ulama? We got to do something. Ulama not speaking. We need the jihadis, the brothers who about jihad. Ya miskin. Yahud. Cousins of apes and swines. That Allah turned some of them into apes and swines and monkeys. Monkeys. They took Palestine, Quds, and Jerusalem. And since 1948, and you ain't did nothing about that. Done nothing about it whatsoever. Hindus and Sikh pouring gasoline upon Muslim women and men and letting them burn them in the street. Taking the Babri Mosque in India and tearing it down brick by brick with their bare hands. You haven't moved yet. Christian Serbs taking Muslim women and raping them and then implanting in them the embryo of dogs. You haven't done nothing yet. Where you been? Kashmir, Philippines. Where you been? Now this situation comes up, and now you talk and you run your mouth. And the issue is you're not in a Muslim country. You live in a Kafir country. We don't call for this madness of insurrection. We don't call for this foolishness of revolution by talk and by making guerrilla-like moves and urban warfare. That's madness. We don't call for it. It's not sound, aqlin or shar'an, intellectually or legislatively. But since you call for it, why you ain't make no move towards this kafir here? Why is the Salibi, the Christian here, safe from you? Why is Yahudi down the street safe from you? Why is the Hindu or the Buddhist or the atheist or the secularist safe from you? Because you're all about talk. And things have been placed in your head, in your mind, and in your methodology and in your program that you don't know where it came from. Just was. Whispering from shaitan. Either the shayateen of men or the shayateen of jinn. So you have nothing to do but talk about the inheritance of the prophets, the scholars, those who sit and with the book of Allah Ta'ala for years, those who sit with the Sunnah for years, those who explain the issues of the deen to the people, those who distribute the guidance that Allah Ta'ala has sent down. This is who you talk about. Where's the scholars? Where's the scholars? Why, the scholars are here, but you don't know it. This jihad matter is like any other matter of our deen. It is an ibadah, a worship. And worship have conditions. And of the first conditions of any worship is ilm, knowledge of it. Gotta know what you're doing. The ignoramuses who want to talk about jihad without knowing what jihad is, without referring to the scholars, are like the individual who's always talking about, I want to make wudu. I got to make a wudu, man. I got to get me a wudu. He said, well, go ahead and make a wudu. I don't know how. Don't know how. Don't know how to wash his hands. Don't know what to say, Bismillah. Don't know the conditions of wudu, the arkat, the shurut of wudu, the sunan of wudu, the mubtilat of wudu. Don't know it. He said, I got to make my salah. It's about salah. Where's the scholars, man? It's about salah. We got to get on this salah, man. Someone said, well, make salah. Scholars ain't doing nothing. You make salah. I don't know how. This is their reality. They don't know nothing about jihad. Jihad, barakallahu feekum, is not something new to the Muslims. Jihad, barakallahu fikum, is not something new to the scholars. Jihad, there's a chapter of it in every fiqh book. There's a section dealing with it in every book of hadith. It is something that the Muslims was part of their behavior and their program when they were upon Tawheed and Sunnah and Minhaj Salaf Salih. So this is a matter that must be understood. There are 2 articles recently presented on the Salafi network or internet, Sahab. One of them is called the Fatawa of the Ulama regarding Jihad. Statements of the scholars, their rulings regarding Jihad. That one was kept rather detailed, and so I left it. The other one was التوجيهات السلفية, Salafi directives, في قضايا جهادية, in the matters of jihad, لفضيلة الشيخ Uways ibn Abdullah al-Jabiri, hafidhahullah. So this is where we'll take some of this, and hopefully it will open or bring about awareness for many of us. Many of us don't know these issues, and we let the Hizbis irritate us and corner us as if we have to be on the defensive, and as if we don't know the program and we don't have the answers, running scared as if we are ignorant of this matter, and letting them have the floor, and they should never have the floor because they don't have knowledge. And the Salafi has knowledge. Bihi yuqatil, with it he fights. Bidun ilm laysa lahu silah. Without knowledge he doesn't have any weaponry. This has been stated by the great ones of the Minhaj, the great A'immah. Al-Isnad silah, chain of transmission, the knowledge of chain of transmission, a hadith, it's a weapon. وَمَنْ لَا سِلَاحَ لَهُ, the one who doesn't have a weapon, كَيْفَ يُقَاتِلْ, how does he fight? You're standing in an area where there are 72 different firaq around you, and you're the one upon Salafiyya. You got everybody know everybody else, and you're the only stranger. Everybody doing everything that everybody else is used to, and you're the only one doing something that's not familiar. And then you're approached, and these discussions take place, and you're without knowledge regarding this issue. هذا لا يصلح. This doesn't benefit, and this is not correct. The Sheikh says, حفظه الله, the question, ما حكم الجهاد, what is the ruling of jihad, regarding jihad, دون إذن ولي الأمر والوالدين, without the permission of wali al-amr, those in authority, and your parents. What is the ruling regarding jihad without the permission of wali al-amr, those in authority, wal-walidain? Anybody can answer this. Who's the wali al-amr? Huh? تختلفون? You differ on this? Who's the wali al-amr? He said Amir al-Mu'mineen. The Khalifa for where? One Khalifa? Nah. Come on, that's not the reality we're living in. Who's the wali al-amr? He said the ulama. That's part of the picture. That ati Allah, ati Rasul, wa uli amri minkum, obey Allah and obey the messenger of authority amongst you. Refers to 2 people. The scholars and the rulers. So wali al-amr is the rulers. So wali al-amr of Saudi is Fahd. Wali al-amr of Kuwait, Sabah, right? You don't have to know. Anyway, the point is, the wali al-amr of the place is that wali of that one in authority of that place. I want to make sure you don't think that it's the imam of the masjid. Because there was that type of understanding running around here. I remember arguing with some brothers about it. They took usul al-sunnah and says, well, you have to obey the imam, you have to obey the wali al-amr, you have to obey the amir. I said, well, do you think that means what you doing? You won't find it in the annals of history. You won't find nobody saying that type of foolishness. Anyway, the point is, the wali al-amr, ruler, the one who can what? Make tanfidh, execute the legislation, send out armies, put in place laws. This is so we don't think that when we see Jamil Alameen, you know what I'm saying, with some cuffs on him, you know, say, oh man, they got that real mu'mineen, man, you know, getting in the back of the van, right? Oh man, they got the wali al-amr. What's happening, right? We are another imam of a masjid. You know, they go up in there, 5 or 6 brothers coming out of there. Oh man, the wali al-amr is gone, man. We ain't got no amir now. That's another thing, this amir thing. You know, where you got to obey him and do what he says. You know, you better, you know, do what he say, man. Why? Well, you know, Allah say, ati Allah, ati Rasulullah, wali amr minkum. That's madness. It's never meant like that. So the ruler of a country, he has his army, he has his police, squad, he has this, he has that. He's running the show. That's the wali al-amr. Ajaba Fadilat al-Shaykh, Hafidhahullah. The noble Shaykh responded, Alhamdulillah wa salatu salam ala Abdullah wa Rasulah. And peace and praise be upon the servant of Allah and his messenger, Muhammad. Wa ala alihi wa ashabih, wa man wallahu amma ba'd. And upon his family and his companions and all those who are loyal to him and to proceed. فَإِنَّ الْجِهَادِ, verily the jihad, الَّذِي, now he gives a definition of jihad. The jihad, الَّذِي هُوَ قِتَالِ الْأَعْدَاءِ, which is the fighting of the enemy. أَعْدَاءِ اللَّهِ, the enemy of Allah. مِنَ الْكُفَّارِ, from the disbelievers. وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ, and all that associate partners with Allah. إِعْلَاءً لِكَلِمَةِ اللَّهِ, to raise and make superior the word of Allah. What about this jihad? Shari'atun baqiyah. It's a sharia that remains. It's part of the legislation that remains, that will stay. وَفَرِيدَةٌ مُحْكَمَةٌ, and an obligation, clear-cut obligation. When you find the ability and the means to do so. When you find the qudra, the ability, the power, the strength, and a dawa'i, or the causes, or that which calls to it, to do so. Hatta yarith Allah, until Allah inherits the al-ard, the earth, wa man alayha, and all that are up on it. وَنُنَبِّحُ هُنَا هَا هُنَا إِلَى أُمُورٍ, and I point out here certain matters. Al-amr awwal, the first matter. أَنَهُ لَيْسَ لِأَحَدٍ, it's not for anyone, كَائِنَ مَنْ كَانَ, whoever he is, أَنْ يَدْعُوا إِلَى الْجِهَادِ بِنَفْسِهِ, that he starts making a declaration of jihad by himself. Jihad, we got to do jihad, come on man, jihad. Duna wali al-amr, without the person, the ruler, the one in authority, min al-muslimin, from the Muslims. And this means what? The type of jihad he's talking about, he's going to talk about the different types. There's fard ayn, that which is obligatory upon everybody. There's fard kifa'i, that which is obligatory on some. And if the others do it, then it's, then the other ones are not responsible because it's been done for them. And, sunnah, that which, if you do, you're rewarded for, and like this. There's jihad, talab, any jihad where you're trying to get the people to accept Islam, jihad of da'wah, right? And that's, and then there's jihad of difa, jihad of defending. So he'll talk about that, but what the point he's making here is, jihad that goes out and attacks the people, right? These are wali al-amr. You can't, everybody just jump up and do what they want to do. Sheikh al-Albani, rahimahullah, talked to a jihadi once. And of course, as is often, when he would talk to Ahl al-Bidah, he whooped them up pretty good. He overwhelmed them. And he put them in place. One of the first issues he said is, do you need an Amir for jihad? Guy hesitated, And Sheikh al-Ansar wasn't one of those you could play with. He said, answer me directly. La haida. A lot of us do haida. Haida is where you try to avoid answering something. He was very good at cutting a person off like that. Like they say, a fine boxer is in a ring cutting a guy off where he don't have nowhere else to go. Sheikh Nas was like that in jidal and arguing. Cut him right off. Don't have nowhere to go. No room except to acquiesce, to capitulate. So the point is, he finally admitted that you have to have Amir. Then it went to the next level. Amir of who? One little group of Muslims here, one little group of Muslims there. I admit that it's eventually we get to Amir not being Amir, our buddy who's the Amir, who we in the masjid decided, well, this is our Amir. No, it's a ruler. That's what it gets to, a ruler. So it's not for anyone, kind of mankind, whoever he is, that he decides to call jihad on him. And let's go, yallah, jihad, right? It's not for anyone to do this without the idhn or duna wali al-amr. Then a da'wah jihad, the call to jihad, the declaration of jihad, what tajneed al-junud, putting the army together, tajyis al-juyush, putting the soldiers, lining them up and getting them ready to go out. What da'wah and calling to tanfir, that the people go out, tanfir am. Everybody hears my voice, everybody hears the command, everybody that can hear it and have it broadcasted. We're going, it's time to move. هذه من خصائص. هذه من خصائص. Is particular, specific to who? Wali al-amr. Understand what he's saying? It's of his khasa'is, his particulars. It's specific to him, exclusive to him. Anyone else can't do it. Anyone else from the common layman cannot do it. Anyone else in the dawla, anyone else in the country can't do it. If anybody could do it, it would not be from his khasa'is. How is it going to be khususi? Man, this is khususi. It's khususi, huh? It's just for him. It's not going to be khususi long if everybody else can do it. Huh? It's specific to him, to wali al-amr. And it's from the things that he is concerned with. وَمِن وَاجِبَاتِهِ, from his obligations. بِإِتِّفَاقٍ, by agreement. By agreement of what? Listen to what the Sheikh said. He doesn't say by agreement of everybody. And that's another thing. People think that everybody got to agree in the issue on deen. You got to get the agreement of everybody. Like this is democracy. That kufr, the shirk, the taghuti stuff. Everybody got to agree. La. Ittifaq man yu'tad biqawlihi. Ittifaq, agreement by those whose statements have weight. Whose statement means something. Min al-a'imma, a'immat al-huda, from the imams of guidance. Everybody's statement don't mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about ta'am or something. You like this dish, I like that dish. That's fine, right? We're talking about the deen of Allah Ta'ala. Everybody's statement don't mean anything. Though everybody has a tongue, everybody's not allowed to speak. And those who are to speak, there are some who their statement carries weight and you must take, and some of those it would be better if they would be silent for their sake and our sake. وَلَا يُعْطَى بِقَوْلِهِ, you don't go by their statement. And this is something that will benefit you in other areas of the deen. And because you read a book of fiqh and you see all types of names there, and you don't know who's who, everybody, la yu'tad biqawlihi. You don't go by everybody, word doesn't carry weight. In the matters of jahr wa ta'dil in the time we live in now. Muhammad al-Banna has said recently, when I am online, Ubayd al-Jabri has said it. Salih Suhaim has said it. This one has said it. That one has said it. That the one most worthy of note who has said it, Shaykh al-Albani. حامل اللواء جرح وتعديل بحق. The carrier of the banner of criticism and declaring who should be criticized. Who is weak, who's no innovation, who has some corruption in the aqeedah or whatever, and the one who's ta'adil, who's praiseworthy, who's upon sunnah, who's upon istiqamah, bihaqqin, with right. Fi asrina hada, in our time that we're living, who is Shaykh Rabi. That is an expert in the field, the major expert, the one in the field of hadith who said this. So Shaykh Rabi's qawl, his statement, yu'tad bihi, carries weight, must be taken. And so that ignoramus that goes, well, that's Shaykh Rabi, but I feel this way. Hal yu'tad bi qawlihi, do you accept, or does his word carry any weight? Make a distinction between those whose statements must be taken and who you must benefit from, versus those who will talk and talk and talk, and their statements are not to be taken. So the Shaykh made this point. بِاتِّفَاقٍ مَنْ يُعْتَادْ بِقَوْلِهِ مِنْ أَئِمَّةِ الْهُدَى. And this is from the particulars of the Imam. He announces jihad. This is from his important matters. This is from his obligation. This is exclusive. This is specific to him. By agreement of those whose statements are to be taken and whose statements carry weight from the Imams of guidance. فَأَئِمَّةُ أَهْلُ السُّنَّةِ, the Imams of Ahl Sunnah, real Ahl Sunnah. Real Ahl Sunnah. Not Ahl Sunnah flavor. Real Ahl Sunnah. Sometimes, you get something and it's orange juice in it. And then somebody got orange flavoring. He said, no, I want some real orange juice. This is real Ahl Sunnah here. He's talking about. فَأَئِمَّةُ أَهْلُ السُّنَّةِ, the Imams Ahl Sunnah, حينما يؤلفون الكتب, when they write their books, ويصنفون مصنفات, they write and they put together or compile their books, that التي يدونون فيها ما يجب اعتقاده, that they place in it what is obligatory for a Muslim to believe, فإنهم يذكرون ذلك, they mention this factor in their books, that الدعوة إلى جهاد, the call to jihad, the declaration of jihad, min khasa'is wali al-amr, are from the particulars of the ruler. فَيَقُولُونَ, they say, وَالْجِهَادْ مَاضٍ, وَالْجِهَادْ مَاضٍ, يعني مع ولي الأمر. Jihad must be done, يعني with the ruler. In every book of Aqeedah, you'll find it. You don't find no one from the Salaf getting up on his own, walking past Sahaba, I'm going to jihad, carrying his own little safe around his neck, getting up on his ride animal, let me get up out here, jihad, jihad, jihad. No. You don't find that type of foolishness till today. Al-Amr al-Thani, second matter, أن الجهاد منه ما هو فرض عين ومنه ما هو فرض كفاية ومنه ما ليس كذلك سنة. That the jihad, from it is that which is fard ayn, obligatory upon every individual, and amongst the types of jihad is that which is fard kifaya, obligatory upon a portion of the Muslims, that if they fulfill it, it relieves the rest of the Muslims of their responsibility. And amongst it is that which is sunnah, which is not obligatory at all. Now, tell me, how are you going to know what's fard kifaya of jihad? The jihad is fard kifaya, or the jihad is fard ayn, or the jihad is sunnah, without knowledge? How are you going to know it if you haven't studied it? You haven't heard it from the statements of the scholars on a cassette tape. You haven't bent your knee to sit in front of them and hear something of that nature when they talk about it. You haven't read it in the books of the scholars. How are you going to know it? And I guarantee you the vast majority of those who are running their mouth because it's easier to lift the tongue and to move the tongue than anything else, who are saying jihad, jihad, jihad. If you were to say, okay, akhi, what's jihad? Fard ayn. Jihad is fard ayn. What's jihad is fard kifaya? Okay, now what's the jihad is sunnah? And tell me the difference between them. That's it. End the program. فيكون فرعين في ثلاثة أحوال. في ثلاثة أحوال. It becomes fard ayn, obligatory upon every Muslim in three situations. Three circumstances where you're going to have it fard ayn. إهداها, one of them, حال النفير العام. It's where the ruler tells everybody we got to go out. This is called nafir al-am. And this is in the Quran. And if you are requested to go out, then go out. Light and heavily armed. Go out. Right? This nafir al-am is when the wali al-amr, and one authority, calls everyone in general, broadcast to everyone in general, that they must come out. That it is time for jihad. Then it becomes wajib ijabatuhu, to answer him. It's a da'wah, invitation. And it's an invitation that you don't have a choice. It's obligatory that you be there. You must be in attendance. Ala qadirina min rijal, upon those who are able to do so from the men. Al qadirina ala haml al-silah, those who are able to carry a weapon. You able to carry a weapon? Yeah, well, come on. This is how it is. That's when it's fard ayn. Thaniyatiha, the second type, is when the Muslims are involved in a battle already with the disbelievers, or you come upon them and they're in ranks, right? It is not for any Muslim at that time. And I don't mean a couple, 3 or 4 brothers on a corner. Some kafir called him something, or they did something to kafir in Jahiliyyah, and he wants his vengeance, and brother, jihad, Allah Akbar, let's go. That's not jihad. That's not jihad. No, we're talking about, once again, keep it in a very general, international, country, large population, ruler. Keep the focus upon these issues. Because I don't want to keep saying that as if I'm playing your intelligence. But like I said, I recall those discussions, that I've had with individuals who would read Usul al-Sunnah by Imam Ahmad and come away with the most amazing matters. Imam Ahmad is talking about Imam of our masjid. Nobody in dunya has the right to disobey him. What is this? Ala qadirina min rijal. Okay, before we get that, la yahillu li ahad, we read that. Min al-muslimin. The Muslim doesn't have the right to run away. وَأَنْ يَتْرُكْ مَكَانُهُ, or to leave his place. Unless it is a strategy for fighting, or he's going to another group of Muslims that he could strengthen to grant the Muslims support and victory. Or أَمْرَ تَقْدِيهِ سِيَاسَةِ قِتَالِ, يعني the strategy and the politics of fighting dictates that you make this move. And you're moving. It's a strategy. You're backing up, but you're not retreating. Or you're retreating for a certain purpose. Or you're going to support. You understand what he's saying? Not running away is what he's saying. And he leaving a place, he said, for another place that's stronger. Gives the Muslim more strength from that. Say, well, in this position here, man, it's weak. Let's go there. We'll be stronger. Right? Against the adu, against the enemy. Right? So on this level, and if we get here, we support the Muslims better, and we could damage the kuffar, and we could harm them better from this standpoint. Yani strategy. This is the only reason they will have the ability or the permission to move. Not some brother, tawalla yawm zahf, turned his back, his knees are going up to his cheeks, and he's headed for Broadway. He has no plans whatsoever to fight. This is not the case that the Shaykh is talking about. He's talking about somebody who's doing so based upon strategy. And I think the difference is clear. third matter, which makes it fard ayn, any fard ayn, obligatory upon everyone, is when the kuffar, and this is what happens often nowadays, when the kuffar go into a particular country, of the Muslims, then jihad is fard ayn. But upon who? Some people are going to say upon everybody. No, the Sheikh said, ala ahli hadha al-balad, upon the people of that country. This is a misconception that's there. Man, they went to the land of the Muslims, we gotta go. It's far, because when they do that, it's far on everybody. Huh? No. Balad. Ala ahli hadha al-balad. Now, when is those are the three cases when it is fard ayn. ويكون fard kifaya, fard upon some, and if they do it, then the other Muslims are relieved of their responsibility. إذا رفع الإمام الراية, the Imam raises the banner, but he doesn't give a general call. And those who want to come, come. Those who don't, no problem. Right? A campaign or whatever. You know, on that level. Then it's what? Fard kifayas. Someone has to answer his call. Someone has to get ready to go, but not everyone. وهناك جهاد لا يمكن يسمى فرض عين ولا فرض كفاية. And then there's a jihad that can't be called fard ayn, obligatory upon every individual, ولا فرض كفاية, obligatory on portion of the Muslims, that if they do it, they relieve the others. وهو من باب النصرة. It is from the way or the manner of nusrah, supporting the Muslim. Min bab nusrah. So, some Kafirs come into a country of the Muslims, one of the countries of the Muslims. And one person from amongst us said, man, they just attacked Iraq. They just attacked Kashmir. They just attacked Afghanistan. Huh? What can he do? He himself can decide to give his wealth or to go himself and fight. With a condition. La yad'u. He doesn't call others to it. I say, man, you come, man. Me and you. Let's go. No. Himself. وَلَيْسَ لَهُ, it's not for him to push everybody else to it. هُوَ بِنَفْسِهِ, he can go himself. إِذَا رَأَى أَنَّهُ يَنْفَعُ, if he thinks that it'll benefit and that he will be able to defend the Muslim for la bas. Because it's not fired up on him to begin with. You know, he might be taking care of his family, learning something about deen, giving some dawah. He's going to drop all of that. He's going to go over there and to be one person, thinking he can do something. So it's not fard for him anyway. Not fard ayn, no fard kifaya. But definitely if he wants to do that, if he wants to run to Serbia and deal with that, he wants to run to Kashmir and deal with that, he can do so on his own, but don't be trying to convince somebody else, oh, come on, you got to go too. We got to go to, like this. Now, al-amr al-thalith, the third matter. وَلَعَلَّهُ أَحَمُّهَا, and this may be the most important matter. أَنَّ الْجِهَاد, that the jihad, لَا يَكُونَ, is not to be, and should not be, and must not be, إِلَّا وَرَاء Imam Muslim, except behind an Imam Muslim. What Imam he's talking about? Don't say Brooklyn, What Imam? It's called Imam al-A'zam. And I ain't talking about Abu Hanifa either. Imam al-A'zam, the great Imam, the Sultan, the ruler of the country. The Imam al-A'zam in Saudi is Fahad. The Imam al-A'zam in Bahrain is that one. The Imam and this one is that one, right? Of Morocco is that one. Imam al-Muslim. And the point is, some people will say, well, the situation that we're dealing with, man, it's different, man. Because the Muslims are like all supposed to be under one Imam. Right? Shokani and them knocked that down a long time ago. And they bring your Alim, Imam from Yemen. And many others that knocked that down a long time ago. That if we're saying that a condition is that there be one Imam, one ruler of a country, the vast spaces between the Muslim empire, how would he even know at that time what was going on in other other cities and countries and what the people I need are. So there, each saying he can officiate and send governors, no doubt. But if there's in fact other ai like the Muslims are now, then that's fine. They are the wali al-amr, and they are the imam for the particular Muslims living under their rulership. Fahimtum? So this has to be clear. So he says, al-amr al-thalith, the third matter, وَلَعَلُّهُ أَهَمَّهَا, and it may be that it's the most important matter, and al-jihad. For those of you who like to say jihad, and scream jihad, that this jihad that you're screaming about, shouting at the top of your lungs about, لا يكون إلا وراء إمام Muslim, cannot be except that you're fighting behind a imam Muslim, a Muslim ruler. Imam Muslim, not kafir. Imam yarfa al-raya, raises the banner. Now listen to about this Muslim ruler, this Muslim imam. وعنده قدرة, he has power, he has ability. Adadan, the numbers, wa'uddah, and the support, physically, weaponry and the like. Ala qital, to be able to fight those who he has to fight, man yalihi, who are closest to him or whatever of the kuffar. Right? Mahimaya, at the same time preserving the Muslims back home. You can go out for jihad and then let the Kafirs just take the Muslims there and you somewhere else. I'm here in Russia making jihad. Oh man, they took over the whole, I'm raising the banner of Allah here. No, himayatul Muslim, preserving the Muslim, those who are already Muslims in their places, and at the same time taking care of that. And you tell me if a brother can't, don't even have the authority to get away from a traffic ticket, alright? He worry about 30 days for a traffic ticket. How in the world can he be Imam of the Muslims? Huh? You don't agree? Allah. Well, let me call your name, huh? Just joking with you. Yeah. This is Baqiya mas'ul anhu. Baqiya mas'ul anhu. Left is the thing that was asked about. Wa huwa duna idhin wali al-amr. Can I go fight without the permission of wali al-amr or idhin walidain? And the reason he's saying idhin walidain or permission of the parents is because the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Man came and asked the Prophet ﷺ, can I go make jihad? The Prophet ﷺ said, do you have a mother? Huh? Within her behalf, you do jihad. That's your jihad. Birru. And the goodness to her. So this is what he means. You have to get permission, especially if it's not the type that in which tanfir am, where the Imam has said, everybody come, like most of the time in the time we're living in, you have to get permission. He said, هذا تحتاج إلى تفصيل. And this is an important point also, even though we don't have much time. That our scholars, they don't answer a question in any shape, fashion, or form. Just, If you ask them, and I've heard the likes of the Muhaddith of Medina, Ahmad and Sari, rahimahullah, and here Ubayd al-Jabari is doing it. If you ask them a question, mujmil, summarized, concise, short, you didn't go give much detail, they say, wait a minute, that question's mujmil, short. You didn't give much detail, so I'll answer in accordance with what you asked. But had you asked with detail, like had you said kada, wa kada, wa kate, then I would have said this, this, and this. So this is how things are to be asked regarding the issue. And Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah has an area that he talks about in this regard also, which will help you in your discussions with hizbis or ahl al-bidah, or people who don't have no ilm. And that is that sometimes they come to you with a statement which is concise and summarized, but that can be understood in a good way or a bad way. You are not to answer. I repeat, you are not to answer until you make sure which of them that they meant. And to tafsil, you get the detail. What do you mean by what you just said? Once you got the detail, then you can answer. So this is very important to understand. He said this question, يعني تحتاج إلى تفصيل, detail. تحتاج إلى تفصيل. فقد تبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إنه رد عن الجهاد, that he told a man who wanted to make jihad to go back and take care of his parents, or one of them, because they needed him. وَإِذْنْ وَلِيِ الْأَمْرِ, and the permission of the one authority is min bab siyasa. It's from the stance of politics, min bab al-dar al-fitan, removing the trials and tribulations, wa dar mafasid, the harms, wa hadha amr la bud minhu, and it's a matter that is a must. He repeats it, amr la bud min, it's a must. So if the wali al-amr prevents someone that he sees a benefit in preventing from going to jihad, hopefully he'll be rewarded for his intention. Sinful for his disobedience, rewarded for his intention. The last thing we'll deal with, because we're not going to get to all of it, is this question that will help us understand some matters. هل يجوز, is it permissible, al-jihad ma ahl al-bidah, to make jihad with helping the people of bid'ah, ضد الكفار, against the disbelievers, لنصرة الإسلام, to give victory to Islam? Can we as Muslims upon the Sunnah go and support Ahl al-Bidah, or have them in our army? We're with them, and we're fighting against the kuffar. Shaykh Abdullah says, listen to his answer, نحن نبغض البدع, we hate the bid'ah, we hate the innovation, and وأهلها, and its people, and those who practice bid'ah. وَنُحَذِّرُ مِنَ الْبِدْعَةِ, we warn against innovation. وَأَهْلُهَا, and we warn against its people. وَنُرُدُّ الْبِدْعَةِ, we reject the bid'ah. بِالدَّلِيل, with evidence. And نُحُضُّ النَّاسِ, push the people على السنة, to the people on the sunnah. وَذَلِكَ مِنَ الْجِهَادِ بِاللِّسَانِ, and this that we do, hating the people of bid'ah, hating innovation, warning against bid'ah, warning against innovators, rejecting bid'ah with evidence, pushing the people towards sunnah, this is jihad upon the tongue. وَالْبِدْعَ أَمْرُهَا خَطِيرٌ, innovation, this matter is dangerous, because it involves believing that the deen is deficient. It involves believing that the Prophet ﷺ was deficient, and finding fault with him ﷺ and his message, and that he didn't explain the matters Allah ordered him when Allah said, وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ ذِكْرًا, we revealed to you the reminder, so that you would explain to the people, to تَبَيِّنَ النَّاسِ مَا نُزِلَ إِلَيْهِمْ, that you would explain to the people what is revealed to them. So you, by saying that we need to innovate something, you're saying that the deen is deficient, and that it wasn't completed, so we had to come with an innovation to complete it. وَهَذِهِ بِدْعَةٌ, these innovations, لَيْسَ عَلَى حَدٍّ سَوَاءٍ, they're not all on the same level. مِنْهَا مَا هُوَ مُكَفِّرٌ, some innovations make you kafir, make you a disbeliever. وَمِمَّا هُوَ مُفَسِّقٌ, some innovations make you a fasiq, a sinner. مُفَسِّق. Then he said, وَنَحْنُ لَا نَحْكُمَ عَلَى أَحَدٍ, and we don't judge or make a ruling upon anyone, بِإِنَّهُ كَافِرٌ, that he's a disbeliever, or fasiq, an evildoer, حَتَّى تَقُمَ عَلَيْهِ حُجَّةٌ إِسْلَامِيَّةٌ, and to establish upon him what? The hujjah, the evidence in which he cannot reject. كما قال جل ثناؤه, as Allah said, وَمَنْ يُشَاكِكَ الرَّسُولِ, and he who opposes the messenger, مِنْ بَعْدَ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْهُدَى, after the guidance has been made clear to him, وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, and follows a path other than the believers, نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى, we'll leave him to what he has chosen, وَنُصْلِيهِ جَهَنَّمْ, and place him in the hellfire, وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا, what an evil destination. وَكَقَوْلِ تَعَالَى, and like the statement of Allah, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ ارْتَادُوا, verily those who apostated, عَلَىٰ أَدْبَارِهِمْ, went back on their heels, مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الْهُدَى, after the guidance has been made clear to them, it is shaitan who made that fear seem to them. فَهَذِهِ آيَات, these verses, and anything that has the meaning of it in the Quran, also in the Sunnah, show that we do not declare anyone a disbeliever, nor do we declare anyone a fasiq, until the root, until the knowledge and the evidence has reached that person. حَتَّى يَسْتَبَيِّنَ لَهُ الْحَقِّ, until we make clear to him the truth from falsehood. This is the first matter. The second matter, نَحْنُ لَمْ نُكَفِّرْ أَهْلَ الْبِدْعَةِ تَكْفِيرًا مُطْلَقًا, we don't declare all of Ahl al-Bidah, absolutely every innovator, a kafir. Or takfir and amma, or general takfir. Except the ones who their bid'ah is in fact mukaffarat, disbelievers. And the evidence has been made against them, like a Rafd, the Shia, the Twelvers we call them, if not Jafari, if not Sharia, those who America seems to want to rule Iraq now, Khomeini and his guys, and these are kuffar. What tajahim, the Jahmiyyah, those who deny that Allah is over his throne, deny that Allah has any names or qualities, right? Tajahim, wahdatul wujud, like some of the Sufis who believe that all of this is Allah, and all of Allah is this. A'udhu billah. Wal hulu, that Allah is inhabiting certain people. These are kuffar. This is bid'ah what? Mukaffara. That makes a person kafir. Wa ala hada, upon this, فَإِنَّ يُجُوزُ الْجِهَادِ مَعَ الْمُسْلِمِ. It is permissible to make jihad with the Muslim, whether he is a mubtadi'an, an innovator, or sahib sunnah, a person of sunnah. You got that point, Jamil? Sahib sunnah. لكن تحت راية, under a banner, رفعها imam كما قدمنا. Yani that is raised by a ruler, Muslim ruler, Imam Muslim, right? Not asabat groups or jama'at, Jama'at al-Tabligh, want to make jihad, or Jama'at al-Huda, or Jama'at al-this, or Jama'at that, right? This is not how, right? It's not permissible for us to form a Jama'at and say, okay, let's make jihad. Because one, you don't have a ruler. You're not ruling over anyone except those dumb enough to listen to you. And those who find that they have enough of ignorance to put up with that madness, then they put their hand in and we down with you and let's go. But the point is, that's not an Imam Muslim. That's not a ruler. It's not a ruler. And everyone taking jihad and saying, well, let's do this and let's go that. So the Sheikh is saying it's permissible long as their bid'ah is not mukaffara. Ibn Uthaymeen says, somebody asks him about the Rafida, he said, no, you can't do it with them, the Shia, they're kafirs. Let Ahlul Sunnah do their thing, let them go ahead and do that. We don't need you. But for instance, about the Maturidiyya, or someone whose bid'ah is not mukaffara, someone who, is upon some form of innovation, not fighting under his banner, we're fighting under the banner of what? The Muslim ruler. But there happens to be some person upon innovation within the ranks. But his innovation is not what? Kufr, mukaffara, disbelief. And this is why Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, Shaykh al-Islam, the Shaykh of Aqeedah, the Shaykh of Minhaj, the Shaykh of Da'wat al-Firqat al-Najah, the Shaykh of Ta'it al-Mansura, he fought with a lot of Khurafi, Sufis in the ranks, and Ahl Bidah when they fought against what? The Tatar. He had no choice, because what he was trying to do was protect the people of Islam. But he fought with them and they knew his position. Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah did so many rudud upon the Sufis, so many responses against the Shia, so many responses against the Ash'ara, so many responses against the Jahmiyyah, so many responses against the Mu'tazila, so many responses against the Karamiyya, so many responses against the Qadariyya, so many the man didn't leave anybody, right? They all hated him, they all hated him. So the point is that his fighting was what? Out of necessity. Just as if we go in one of the masajid of Ahl al-Bidah, whose bidah is not mukaffara, and we have no choice except to pray there, right? We heard the adhan, so we go pray and we leave. Necessity. So necessity is never to be compared when there is not a necessity. If we are able to have a saf or ranks and a group of Muslims upon kitab and sunnah, you know what I'm saying? And we don't have any need for Ahl al-Bidah, then of course that's first and foremost. But under necessity, long as we're under the banner of a legitimate ruler of a country, I know I understand, man, he ain't said this 100 times, but ruler of a country, man, who has the ability to form an army, I'm not talking about a hoodlum, talking about a ruler. So this is something that is important. So now you have Fard Ain, Jihad that is Fard Ain, Jihad is Fard Kifaya, and Jihad that is Sunnah. Now you have to have the idhn of Wali al-Amr. And you have to have Jihad behind Imam. Now the way the Hizbis and the Takfiris get around this is they declare him kafir right off the bat. He's a kafir. He can't be my Wali al-Amr. He's kafir. That way I don't have to fight with, I don't have to fight under him. Right? So what, those who have some taqwa and some sense understand that you can't just kick a Muslim out of Islam because you feel like it. The Jannah's not yours to let in who you want to let in, and hellfire is not yours to designate who you want to go there. After you wearing the wrong shoes, you go to hellfire. That's not the case. But the reality of the matter is that things have to be done based upon hujjah, based upon adillah, based upon following the aqwal of the scholars. This is basically some of what I wanted to say. He talks about the mudaharat, the marching, which to us, the vast majority of us, it should be something distasteful anyway. Just because you don't want to be compared to that mushrik Martin Luther King, walking up this avenue and walking down that avenue and, carrying a banner and shouting, for redress or whatever, no justice, no peace and all that madness. This should be, something that the Muslim finds abhorrent. He talks about preparation, which maybe we'll get into some other time, but basically it amounts to increasing our iman and our taqwa first, because the purpose of jihad is to raise the word of Allah Ta'ala and to make the word of Allah superior and to call the people to the worship of Allah Ta'ala. So those who call to something should be the first and foremost up on it. And before they ask anybody else to come to that, they must be on it themselves. So from this standpoint, we have come a little bit to the issue of jihad, and hope that it gives you a little ammunition to deal with those who want to shout and scream about the matter. Because nothing is stopping them or preventing them from getting on a plane and very well going to do some jihad somewhere if that's what they think they're going to do. It won't be jihad shara'i, the legislative jihad. Won't be, it'll be an innovative jihad. The help of Allah Ta'ala is not guaranteed since you have stepped, out of His, limits and transgressed His boundaries. But go ahead if that's what you want to do. Better than hear you shout and scream and irritate us, with this jihad at the top of your lungs. We're tired of it. And and what makes it bad is, like I said, the people don't know the status of those who they are dealing with. The Palestinian issue. Some mashayikh who lived at that time used to say that in the 67 war, 6-Day War and others, that when Adhan was called, the Palestinians, many of them, so-called freedom fighters, would pull the trigger of their machine guns so they wouldn't have to hear that. And Adhan's called, they're going to shoot up in the air so they don't have to hear it. This is a type of madness. People worrying about Iraq and crying about Iraq and don't even know who the Iraqis are. Not every time you hear about a Muslim cleric, he's Shi'i. Those who curse Abu Bakr, those who curse Umar, those who say that all of the Sahaba became kuffar except 3. Salman al-Farsi, Abu Dhar, and Miqdad. Those who said the Quran that we have is only a third of it. Zira fi, some increase has been made in it. Wa naqasa minha kathir, and a lot of it is lost. This is the madness that the people are up on. And this miskin, this jahid, this one who has not enough taqwa, not enough sense of respect to come learn the deen of Allah, is running his mouth about jihad and going over there and protecting and defending people he don't even know. Their leader Khomeini said to the Shia that were in Afghanistan, take it easy with the Russians, for when they leave, your real enemy you can deal with them. And they're the Sunnis. The Sunnis. And you don't know what Ahl Raf did? You don't know what the Shia are on? We got to talk about that sometime. It's amazing that our brothers don't know about the facade of Al-Qama, and how all throughout history the Shia have gathered with the Jews and the Christians and fire worshippers to attack the Muslims, and you see it happen right before your eyes. History repeating itself, and people don't even see it because they don't pay attention to history, and they're not concerned about Aqidah. And I guess that Abu Hassan Ash'ari in Maqalat Islamiyya just felt like talking about the Shia. And I guess that Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah in Minhaj al-Sunnah just felt like writing 4 or 5 or 6 volumes on the Shia. And I guess that it's just been that way that Khatib Baghdadi wrote about them in Firq wa Firaq. And Muhibbuddin Khatib wrote his Khutut al-Arida, broad aspects of the Shia to let you know what these people are on, and we forgot all of that. We got to go back to 1979, where some of the ignoramuses, and unfortunately half of them have to be African Americans, ran up into the Washington Masjid in Washington, and every one of them went to jail, and every one of them got some time for the Shia. Didn't know what the Shia was on. Didn't know what they was believing. Didn't know that they got dua saname Quraysh, dua where they talk and make curses about Wakar Umar. Call them the Tawaghit. We say the Taghut is Iblis. Anything that is worshipped other than Allah, they say the Taghut is Abu Bakr Umar. Don't know that they say that their so-called false Mahdi, when he comes back, who's, by the way, in a cave, as Shaykh Islam al-Zahir, rahimahullah, used to say before they killed him, and you can hear the tape in which they assassinated him, because he was one of the staunchest responders against them, wrote books against them. They blew him up, rahimahullah. But he said about them that this Mahdi of theirs is in a cave that not even a rat's going to come out of. Their so-called leader, they have a belief they call Aqidat al-Raja, a return, where they're going to whoop Aisha. First they're going to kill Abu Bakr, and then bring him back alive, and then kill Abu Bakr, and then bring him back alive, and then kill Abu Bakr, until they do it what? Thousands of times. Then they're going to bring Umar, and kill Umar, and then bring him back alive, and then kill Umar, and then bring him back alive, until what? Till they do it over 1,000 times. Then they're going to bring Aisha, al-Mu'mineen, the mother of believers, and they're going to flog her. What are you flogging her for? Don't tell me you're flogging her for adultery. When Allah Ta'ala revealed ayat in Surah An-Nur, talking about her innocent, you kafir, you khabib, you dajjal, you still trying to say she needs to be whipped for adultery? There's no need for her to be whipped for adultery because it never happened. It is a fiction of your mind. Allah Ta'ala had said she was innocent. It was that which the munafiqeen and others lied about her regarding, and Allah sent ayats from Surah An-Nur showing clearly that she was innocent of it, and you still have the audacity to say your so-called Mahdi gonna beat her, gonna whoop her, whoop on Aisha. Raja. They have all types of aqa'id regarding Allah, that Allah is ignorant about certain things, and then it becomes clear to him. Yani, these are the people that George Bush wants to hand Iraq to. You liberated the people, you claim, from physical oppression, from getting thrown in prisons, and now you're going to imprison them in shirk and dalala, which is worse. Didn't Allah say the fitna is worse than killing? Fitna is shirk. It's worse than killing. Killing Muslims left and right, slaughtering them. Women with their children in the car trying to pass a roadblock, get blown away. But you won't touch a mosque. What mosque? A Shi'i mosque. In Karbala or Najaf, you won't touch it. It's holy. All the Shia do is commit shirk. Laylan wa nahar, night and day, they commit shirk. They establish shirk. They institute shirk. They call it the shirk. And you don't want to touch that. And he said, subhanallah, when we going to open our eyes? Ya Ahl al-Hadith, Where you at? Are you asleep? Ya Ahl Sunnah. Ya man yaqul innakam ala minhaj as-salaf salih. You say that you're on the way of salaf salih. Where you at, man? Where's the ilm? Where's the information? Where's the education? Where's the raising? Where's your stature? Where's your status? Where you at? Everybody's voice is heard but yours. Everybody's spreading their batil and you got the hawk and you're not moving with it. Allahu Mustaan. Khair inshallah. هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.